Hey, how are you? It's John from Dowie Farm. I'm doing some microgreens planting, and I just want to kind of give you guys an idea of how we do this. I'm gonna get my new tripod here. I'm gonna try to use this thing to set up. I'm gonna go ahead and focus down on some of the soil here that we're doing. What I've got is some 1-inch trays. Oh, hold on here. Whoa, funky. This is my new tripod. I'm trying to learn how to use this thing. So we have some 1-inch trays. I believe they're actually 1 1/4, but whatever. And they're smaller than a regular greenhouse flat. And I can show you a regular size one because I have one right here. Here's a regular size, kind of give you an idea of the size differential here. Let me find a better angle. Here, let me empty that out. Here we go. So just to give you a kind of an idea. See how much different they are? So there's a regular greenhouse flat that's 2 inches, I think, and these are 1. These are also much thicker plastic. Like these are really thin, the regular size. These are very thin. I still have these around. I use them for tops when I'm germinating, but we'll get into germination later. Right now we're just going to work on planting. So I take my flats. I also have a grease pencil, so I write the variety on there, okay? On the tray, and then I just have enough trays so that I just have a lot of trays. Those ones over there are dirty. Those ones over here are clean. I clean the trays. We'll get into that one day here, but just to get started, I write on these things with a yellow grease pencil. You can find those on Amazon or Staples or wherever you're gonna go. Put that in my soil bin. Just to touch on soil real quick, I'm using a local, produced in Maine, bumper crop, organic soil builder, Mastered Nursery. It's made by Coast of Maine, I believe, soil company. And then I'm using, excuse me, I'm cutting it 50-50 with Perlite. Here's the Perlite we're using right now. We're switching to something else soon, but it's going to be the same thing, just different bag. I know it says vermiculite and Perlite. That's the company, I believe, but using horticultural Perlite. I'm mixing that half and half. So I have a way to measure that, just I use a bucket. And the reason I'm doing that is because we use these hydroponic watering trays to water everything. There's my reservoir. It's just a stock tank from Tractor Supply. With pumps, we get on Amazon, we'll get into that later. And so we have to cut the soil or it just absorbs way too much water. So we mix this soil 50-50 and it ends up coming out pretty white. Now, the soil itself that I'm using now has no perlite to start, so we end up half and half. It looks like snow. So the difference here is I've filled my tray. All right, let me kind of show you what I do to fill a tray. Let me tighten this thing up so it quits flopping around on me. I know I'm not the best at camera work yet, so you guys will have to bear with me for a bit. I don't really know how to get this thing to stop flopping around. We're working on it, man. Let me see if I can angle that down. There we go. Maybe I'll edit this stuff out. I don't know why it's going to move on me. So what I do is I've got my tray. Make sure I can see that in the shot. Yep. There's my tray. Okay. Take my scoop. I went to a restaurant supply store. I got me a scoop. Nice big metal scoop. Plastic ones break too easy. I take 2 good-sized scoops of soil in here. Now, I highly recommend the book by, I always forget his name, Luke Callahan or Curtis Stone. I believe it's Curtis Stone. I'll link to the book. I highly recommend his book on microgreens. That's how I learned. But he uses a tamper. I don't bother. He's also doing top watering. He's not doing the kind of watering I'm doing, so that's fine. But anyway, here we go. So I spread the soil out pretty good. A lot of times I can do that first, it helps. But once I get to my second layer, I can't do that, obviously, because they'll be on top of another tray. I won't be able to shake it that way. And I got a little too much in this one, so I'll take some out, put it back in my bin. Sometimes I'll have an extra tray handy when I work down and I don't have the bin near me. I can just throw it in the tray that I'm going to fill later anyway. Just, little steps of efficiency, but I just do this real quick. I make that noise every time. No, yeah, so here we go. All right, pretty flat. It's important to have it relatively flat because you don't want a bunch of grooves because all the soil will fall in. Now, I'm just good at doing it by hand. If you're not, you could probably come up with a way to smooth it off. But I do this, and that kind of settles it. So that's soil in a tray. Great. Now I'm going to spray these. So you can look at these. These ones are really white. It's because I've already sprayed them. But these ones are not. So I'm gonna use a hose with a sprayer to soak these down pretty good. And so what I do, excuse me, I get these really wet because I've got so much perlite. I don't have to worry about oversaturation. So I use this garden hose sprayer on shower. It's one of those 8. It was cheap. It came with a one of those stupid flexi hoses or whatever, the expanding. So I just did that, and you can really feel a difference. You'll get to know and feel when it's heavy, which is when it's saturated. Now, once the stuff starts growing, I won't get them that wet. But while it's germinating and there's no roots down in that soil, I'm not worried as much about the soil having air in it and or being oversaturated and smothering the roots because there aren't any roots. So, hold on. So, I mean, if you were to count to like 15, I guess, but it depends on the rate of your water coming out. But for me, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, up to about 12 or 15. And it's good. This was a little lighter than that one. It doesn't matter. So my goal here is, and it's another spot where I deviate from the book. My goal here is to, hang on, let me see if I can get this on me. Can you see me? Hopefully you can see me. My goal is to not touch these after I plant them. Okay, and in the book, he talks about rotating stacks. What I found was I don't go as high, and you might have to with your situation, but I did follow the book for a long time. But what I found was I was getting a little more mold growth and whatnot. And you just have to kind of adjust to your conditions. So I have 3 to a stack, roughly, all right? And that's all I do. So I have a bottom layer that'll be something that can take the pressure, like peas or sunflowers or radishes, and then some of the brassicas can deal with it. Like I've got a brassica mix that I use for my salad that's turnips and blue kale and pak choy and rutabaga. That can handle it because I don't grow that very long, so it can take it. And the purple cabbage can take it. Some of the other stuff's a little more delicate, like the mustard seeds doesn't really handle it. So you have to kind of, go with it as you can. So what I do is I'll go peas or radish or sun on the bottom. My next layer will be a brassica, like a purple cabbage or a kohlrabi or something like that. And then my top layer will be something like an herb. It'll be cilantro, it'll be basil, shiso, fennel, arugula. Arugula has to go on the top. Celery, carrots, any of that stuff will go on the top. And then I'll just cover that top one with a dome. But anyway, we're gonna get to those next steps. That's my first step, is watering or getting my soil in my tray, get my soil mixed, get my soil in my trays, get my trays labeled. I also have a dating gun that I use. It's a Daymark 3 or DM3 Daymark gun. This thing right here, if you're doing a lot of microgreens, worth its weight in gold because you want to know when you planted stuff. So I can change the dates, and I print it, and I got a 10/25. Today's Christmas, and I'm planting. But hey, whatever. So be it. And I've got my trays are labeled with today's date. They're written on as to what I'm putting in them. Some of my trays have more than one thing written on them. So like, obviously, radish and celery and purple cabbage and corn all look completely different. So I can put 4 items on one flat. So when I'm planting, I have some versatility. So and I just kind of fill that in as needed. So most of my trays just have one name on it. I probably got 10% has more than one thing written on it. So anyway, I get my soil mixed. I get my soil in the tray, smoothed out, sprayed, okay? And then I'm going to weigh my seed, and I'm going to plant. But I just wanted to kind of get a top or get a top, yeah, an overview of the soil and how I treat this. Like, I water this now. I don't water this for 5 days at least. Often I'll go 7. So like, I'll plant this, it'll germinate, I'll bring it out of stack. Okay, and then let's go over here. I pulled this stuff out of stack today. So I'll pull this stuff out of stacks. There's some kohlrabi that just came out. Okay, and that's it. I mean, it's still good. It's still like, hold on, I got it wedged in there. It's still really heavy, right? It's still got you know, some water in there, but it's gonna, now that it's uncovered, it's gonna start to evaporate. I keep a low humidity in here. It might be a little high right now because turning my humidifier off for the video. Nope, we're at 47%, 70 degrees, perfect. I keep air flowing here with my fans that have boxes in front of them. So I keep the air moving. I keep the humidity down. It just went up to 48, of course. So in, like, I planted these on the 21st. So they are 4 days in, right? They're good. They're good after 4 days. Okay, they're about an inch high to come out of stack. I haven't touched them in 4 days. I planted them, stacked them. I didn't touch them. They came out of stack. They go in the flats here. I'll have to water these in 3 days. So 7 days I go without having to deal with watering. It really saves me a lot of time when it comes to you know, managing these greens. I mean, because I've got, you know, I mean, you guys can see what I've got going on here. I got 3 there that aren't all full, but I've got those 3 that are full. I've got these 6 that are full. I've got that over there that's harvested, but in the office room over here, I've got some other stuff that's in germination. I've got another 16 trays, or 16 flats that are in germination in here. And then I've got this stuff planting. I've got those trays over there to give you an example of what's going on. These are backwards because I just had to improvise. So I planted some stuff off date because I was waiting on some seeds. But I've got a lot going on, so I don't have time to come in here every day and restack and rotate and water and all that stuff. It's just a total colossal waste of my time. So I do it this way. It gets really, really wet. I plant my seeds. It germinates. I leave it for 3 to 4 days. I unstack it. I'll leave it under a humidity dome if I want it to get taller, like these sunflowers over here. All right, I want these taller so they'll shed their seeds. And then I'll pull that dome off in probably a day or 2. And then I just let it roll. And then I have these watering situations here, which are nice. So anyway, just kind of give you a quick recap of what we do. It's probably time to clean my planting tray table. So for my planting, these are also hydroponic tables that I plant in, but we'll get into infrastructure at some point here. And I just want to do a quick video. I know we're 13, 14 minutes. I want to keep these under 15. At some point, I'll have walked you through everything we do. And we're going to do these at least once a week in 2017 and get some YouTube stuff going here. And it'll be fun, man. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys like seeing the process. Everything I'm going to show you can be adapted to doing this for yourself in your house. All right? Let's see if I can get myself back in this. See if I can get a video of me. All right, everybody wants to see that, right? Oh my God. There we go. So everything I'm going to show you, you can adapt to your house. You could do the same thing in your house. You just do 3 flats. Stack it like I just said. Unstack it. Put it under your lights. Exactly how I just explained it. Except for you're going to have to top water. You're probably not going to have, I mean, you might. It'd be actually really cheap to set up a little hydroponic situation in your house because we're talking about a $40 hydroponic tray, probably, if that, not even, probably 25 bucks. And, you know, pump and some hoses. You know, we're looking at like, I don't know, maybe 50 bucks to set up a 4 flat system in your house. And you just walk over and hit a switch or plug your pump in, you know, once every couple of days to water your stuff and, you know, make sure your light's on a timer. And I could probably set you up, you know, with 4 flats, 2 lights for $100 in reality. So it's really not a bad price to pay for having your own fresh microgreens all the time. We obviously also sell microgreens. Please check out our website at www, I'm not going to say that, at dowiefarm.com. We have all kinds of stuff listed on there for sale. Fortunately, we're out of duck eggs right now, but we do have quail eggs. It is December, the end of December. The ducks have stopped laying. We have microgreens available to the public. We charge a little less to the public than we do restaurants because of what we offer to the public. Instead of restaurants, they get to tailor their orders. To the public, you're a little more limited on what you can get. So, yeah, if you're interested, get in touch. You can always text me, 603-809-2215. That's fine. I'm very easily found. Our delivery days are Tuesdays and Fridays. And we can do pickup here in Londonderry as well at the Microgreens growing facility. This is not the actual farm, this little spot we lease in Londonderry, New Hampshire. So the rest of the stuff is in Derry at the house. So anyway, that's it. I'm John from Dowie Farm. Thanks for hanging with me here on Christmas while I'm planting micros. I'm about to finish this up so I can go watch a movie and hang out. The wife is in New York with the family, so there we have it. Merry Christmas. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.